Just want to start by saying thank you everyone for your service. I know this is an exciting day, but also a lot of work goes into it. I was hoping Mr. Lynch would be here, but maybe you can help me. Were there any major issues or problems with today's election other than the two polling place location changes?
Whereabouts were they?
That was
Avenel and North Brunswick.
Yeah.
Yes.
They
Right.
were relocated from Avenel to another school.
We did have a squirrel in Old Bridge that blew out a transformer, so half the school, I know it's a school, half the place was out of power, but the polling place part was not, so we continued on.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, so yeah, the question was any major issues other than the location changes? I'm hearing about the squirrel for the first time. Anything else?
As far as I know, it's just like that.
Anything in North Brunswick? No, or that was?
Yeah, that was the same.
That was the
polling
same, yeah.
place.
That was the.
Right, and so when did the two location changes get implemented?
When did what?
This morning,
Yeah.
the first one, was
Oh,
finished
about
about seven.
Avenel.
After
The
five, I
Avenel
found
was
out.
done, I was in Avenel.
Yeah, Avenel
And
never opened
Avenel.
because it was a
Got it.
bomb scare at the
Why
beginning.
Why don't I?
So they
It's
moved
women's
to
meeting, it doesn't-
another location.
Commissioner, if you were, you should,
Yeah.
I just
They moved to another
thought that
location.
Right, so they never opened the middle school, they
Yeah.
instead opened at a neighboring
North
elementary school.
Brunswick was later, so it had already been opened, and they moved the North Brunswick one to a different location where we had other
Right.
voting machines.
Does anyone know when was the last time a polling place was changed during election day in Middlesex County? I don't know.
Sorry, I just appreciate you hanging out and staying, but this isn't a question and answer period. This is an opportunity for public comment. So you can make comments. We're obviously more willing to help you, but like we can't sit here and like we're not answering questions about when stuff happened and when stuff didn't happen.
Scott's saying it's not an interview.
It's not an interview. Okay.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I mean,
You can certainly
was hoping
you can
to
certainly
get
talk-
access to Mr. Lynch to
You
ask
can
these
ask,
questions.
and he'll still be here. This meeting is technically noticed for the rest of the day, so I'm sure you can get him to talk to you, perhaps. But that's not what this is for, so if I can
Okay.
just...
Well, I'll just continue by saying my next question would have been, was there any accommodation made for transportation for those North Brunswick voters from the old site to the new site? I believe it's about a 1 mile drive. Does anybody know if there was accommodations made?
We haven't really had a report on it.
Okay, well,
Maybe
I
for
think,
next meeting we will.
yeah, I would love to hear about it, and I think that in the future, it would certainly be wise to make those accommodations. You know, in the case of Avenel, it's right next door, but in the North Brunswick case, it's a mile away. I would like to hear if there were any technology problems with the 100 feet. It sounds like nothing major, but I also was hoping to get some information about the theft of ballots from the U.S. mail. Surely the board's aware of that issue affecting at least 2 of our municipalities. Can you give me any information about that situation?
Loretta, do you want to go get Tom? Ask him to come into the meeting.
I could say, I have a Will Rogers quote, all I know is what I read in the newspapers, except it's modified to what I read online. And we were told.
That was my...
This inspections were all done by the postal inspectors. So
And in my
you'll
personal
have to ask Tom as
activity
to whether
today,
further.
I ran into 2 persons whose ballots had been involved, and they both got their copies, and the second ballot.
They received a replacement.
Yes, and the replacement is a much better one.
Good to hear. Yeah, I would be curious how many folks were affected, or if there's any information about what actions were taken, I would like to know. And yeah, thank you.
Staff processed them. Checked them against the.
Make sure it's the replacement and not the original. Got it. Okay, well, those were all my questions, so I'll yield the floor at this time.
Okay, thank you. Charlie, why don't you ask?
Yeah, Mr. Lynch, I was hoping to hear about the theft of mail-in ballots. If you could tell me about how many were affected and what actions were taken as a result.
I believe there were, in Woodbridge, there were 18 mail-in ballots that were, taken from the voters to the Board of Elections. When we were made aware of that by the United States Postal Service through the county clerk's office, the county clerk's office immediately sent out duplicate ballots to all those affected voters with a letter stating that they should vote their duplicate mail-in ballot. As a result of an investigation and a warrant, those original 18 ballots were recovered by the United States Postal Service and given to the clerk, which the Board of Elections currently has. So again, we will at some point, when the deadline for the mail-in ballots is passed, bring to you the Woodbridge ballots, if there are any Woodbridge ballots whereby we received the original but not the duplicate, and would ask then the commissioners to make a determination on whether or not you would want to accept the originals or you would choose to reject them. As to the touch-in ballots, those are ballots upon which from the post office indicated that the ballots did not reach the voters. So they identified a route or a number of streets on a route where ballots or mail in general, because again, the post office inspector services says that the mail-in ballots were not the target of any of these incidences. It was financial in terms of instruments and checks and cards. That those, again, the county clerk took direct action and issued duplicate ballots to all those voters, along with a letter, informing the voters that there was a chain of custody issue with those ballots, and that they should, fill out their duplicate ballot and send it back to the Board of Elections. So I think there was about 53 potential voters, but again, the clerk has kind of isolated even further down to 23 voters that were whose ballots were not delivered.
For Woodbridge, which ward? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know.
On the polling place location changes,
Yes.
Can you confirm it was two separate threats?
It was,
and
yes.
Any indication on what the source of the threats or what they were threatening?
And again, it was it's been reported. So it was two separate threats against locations. Again, they didn't come through the Board of Elections. Went through local entities in terms of bomb threats against those locations. So again, that's been reported against a lot of locations in New Jersey. We took quick action working with the Office of Emergency Management, the County Clerk's Office, Middlesex County, and then our local municipal partners to, in Woodbridge's case, just to move the location next door to a school which joins the middle school. And we're able to get that up and running with little to no inconvenience to voters. All things considered, considering the fact that we were made aware of those facts at 5 o'clock. As far as the North Brunswick location, again, that happened while voting was occurring, but again, same thing, we were able to evacuate the location and move our operations over to an adjoining district and school. And again, we were able to issue provisional ballots to all those voters with, again, as little disruption as we could. We were able then to have the voting machines and poll books brought over to that location so that voters can vote on the machine and on a poll book, as it would in a normal location with little disruption within, I'd say, like an hour and a half of the event occurring.
Thank you for answering my question.